To start off with winds, though, because so many of you are probably hearing those winds rattling things around. We've got some debris that's been flying around as well, causing some major traffic problems in and around town with some power lines down and obviously causing bigger concerns with power outages as well. All right, so again, good evening to those of you that are checking in for tonight. Here's a look at where those winds are right now. Sustained. Now, these are just sustained winds. What you'll notice is these lines that continue to flow on through. Those are the more concentrated winds, so obviously along the coast, very severe wind conditions, and then as we head inland, as this cold front starts to bear down, winds sustained at 35 to 40 miles per hour, but those gusts have been much, much higher than that, anywhere from about 45 to 58 miles per hour. 58 mile per hour gusts was noted at Sacramento International. And we haven't seen the peak winds yet, it looks like. Here's some of those peak winds just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Currently a peak wind gusts of 54 miles per hour in Stockton. There are so many other wind conditions though that if I just take you over to another computer. This is from the National Weather Service, which gives great hourly conditions here. And you can see for Mather, 56 mile per hour peak wind gusts over at McClellan, 47. Folsom with a 50 mile per hour peak wind gusts. These are just different monitoring stations throughout the region. We've got 52 for Ione. There we go. Stockton has been a real mess. I saw somebody from Lodi too. 33 mile per hour peak wind gusts, but just off to the west, 42. For the Stockton area, about 50 mile per hour peak wind gusts. So that's, again, this is just as the storm is starting to roll on through. We have much, much more to go with this. In fact, some of those peak winds will be coming through roughly at about midnight. Let me go ahead and take a look at the radar, though, right now to get on to some of the rain. We haven't even seen the heaviest rain come in. Currently, just looking at the biggest wind part of this storm bearing down on Northern California. As far as the rain, it's been definitely coming down, but it's not been super, super heavy. This is just the leading edge of this storm. As it starts to pick up, we'll see some of the heaviest rain coming in. Right now, it looks like right about midnight or so. I just saw a comment that I did want to, let's see. Oh, Roseville, power lines down by Tiger Way and Sequoia. Thank you, Dana, for updating us on that. Okay, just looking at some of those pretty big events that are going on. So if you're seeing some damaging winds in your area, let us know what is happening so we kind of know what these are doing as they're moving on through. All right, so we'll zoom in on a couple of different areas right now. For Sacramento, Elk Grove, it is very windy. Rain isn't super heavy, that is yet to come, but for Stockton, we are looking at areas of heavy rain. Modesto, not necessarily hard rain, but we are getting the winds. You can see in Jackson, looking at that snow level dropping pretty low tonight. Placerville getting snow, as well as Arnold, Murphy's, Sonora, which got snow with the last event, so that's not really crazy. But here we go, Auburn, looking at that lowering snow level. And I want to zoom in just a little bit here. We'll move over, zoom in. Let's see how Cameron Park getting some of that low snow all the way through Placerville, and like I said, Pollock Pines is going to get a lot more snow. Forest Hill, it continues to snow in Georgetown, Forest Hill, Lake of the Pines, Auburn, just about getting into some of, it's very wet snow, if not just steady snow. Grass Valley continuing to snow as well. It's been very dangerous travel through the Sierra. Not only are we getting snow, but the wind. Now let's take a look at I-5. You can see Redding accumulating snow with that road closure on I-5, 10 miles north of Redding. So I-5 is shut down at this point. Eleanor saying it's raining and windy in Stockton. More power lines down on Nicholas Road towards Pleasant Grove Road. Thank you again. North Highlands is nuts right now. Yeah. So all of these places just super windy. Rain hasn't picked up in its greatest intensity yet, but we are seeing those low snow levels kind of move their way down the hill, much like what we expected. Snow level will be about 500 feet for tonight and then start to move up the hill a bit for tomorrow. So again, heavy rain in Yuba City. We're getting wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour near Folsom. Those are some of the reports that we've been following through tonight. Some of the lower snow as well, moving down towards Auburn, Placerville, Cameron Park, just watching that move in for tonight with that cold air in place. Jackson with snow, as well as Murphy, Sonora, and Groveland. That's what we saw pretty much last time. Now, it'll be real interesting if Copperopolis gets some of that snow. It's just up on some of those higher tops, but not likely down in some of the lower canyons. Where is this all coming from? Well, we've got our huge low off the coast here, as you can see, driving in that rain. So what happens basically, whoops, sorry about that. What happens is this low pulls in this moisture, and it's got this deep back fetch all the way into the subtropics. So I'll zoom this out. I got to change the satellite on this because there we go. So you can see that this is pulling in this moisture all the way down through the Pacific here, and it just feeds this low, giving us not only the wind but some heavy rain and snow totals as well. Winds right now roughly at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Those are just sustained winds, but we are seeing those gusts upwards of 55 plus miles per hour throughout the valley. Some Sierra gusts could approach 125 miles per hour. Just be aware of that. So tonight through midnight, we are going to be seeing some of the strongest winds of this event, at least for the valley. And then as we head towards tomorrow morning, by about 9 o'clock, they're down to about 20, 25 miles per hour, but our high wind warning will continue until noon tomorrow. Wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour, and as we've already been seeing, that is bringing down some trees and lots of debris into different roadways and intersections. Power outages are already happening and will be possible through this time frame. It's going to be a lot of work for all the service providers out there for tonight. And into tomorrow as well. As we head up the hill, we actually have a blizzard warning now. 2 to 8 feet of new snow by the time we get to Friday morning. So this blizzard warning continues through Friday morning at 4 a.m. Wind gusts over 70 miles per hour. Like I said, some of those ridges and tops on the Sierra could see wind gusts up to about 125 miles per hour. Near impossible travel. It's very likely we'll see more road closures. I-5, just 10 miles north of Reading, already closed because of that. Let's see. Cindy's saying they still have power in Citrus Heights. I know in some areas we're already without power. We've been seeing our lights flicker here as well. Winter storm warning, that will continue until Friday at 2 a.m. Some of these areas will expire a little bit sooner than that, but the general area right now, 2 a.m. Friday, that will include most of the Sierra and parts of the Cascades, some of the coastal hills as well. But the Reading area will start to see some rain, transition from snow by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon as some of that warmer air starts to work on in. So again, tonight we're going to see the biggest band of rain hit right around midnight. This is the timeline of rain and snow that we'll be seeing. Once that band moves through, that's the main frontal system, then we'll start to see some slightly warmer air work its way in. At that point, we'll start to see that snow level move up the hill. That will be tomorrow morning, when we'll see the rain transition or snow transition to rain in places like Reading and Red Bluff, and for Placerville getting a break, as well as Auburn and Forest Hill, Georgetown, even through Jackson. It's not that things are done at that point. It's just we're going to get a break from the really intense weather that we're experiencing right now. Again, this is what we're looking at right now with our rain, and I'll go over a couple of more issues that we're going to be dealing with here because it's a lot more than just wind and rain. It's what happens when we accumulate all that wind and rain. It's moving through, but the deeper fetch of moisture is really going to start to affect us around 11 to midnight tonight, and that will continue through about 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when we'll see the heaviest rain, strongest winds, and behind that, it gets a little bit quieter, but it's still going to be raining. So just be aware of that. Again, one of the biggest stories tonight will be The snow falling in Reading, Red Bluff, they're all included in that winter storm warning area through at least tomorrow morning, and then things will start to turn over to rain for them. Driven by this low, which will give us big precipitation totals, big rain, big snow totals as well. That's why we have this flash flood watch in effect. Now that's going to stay in effect until Thursday evening. All these areas, especially around the burn scars, the LNU and SCU lightning complex fires that we dealt with over the summer when we had that wild lightning event and some very gusty winds associated with that, unfortunately, those burned scars are going to be very susceptible to debris and mudslides. All the vegetation stripped from those hillsides make it very difficult to hold any sort of saturated ground. Peak wind gusts, again, wow. Anywhere between 55 and 58 miles per hour. I showed you some of those other wind gusts in localized areas. Sacramento International reporting a 58 peak wind gust just about 15-20 minutes ago now. So just be prepared for that. Let me show you real quick these snow levels. I've been mentioning this a lot. Starting off tonight roughly at about 500 feet, but you can see throughout the course of the storm how some of those snow levels start to rise ever so slightly. I noticed Margie was wondering about Vacaville. Vacaville, the big concern, Margie, that I have for Vacaville is going to be the potential for some mudslides over there because of the LNU complex. So some of the hills will be quite vulnerable for some of the mudslides. Now, in terms of what the winds are looking like along the I-80 corridor towards San Francisco, 31 mile per hour peak wind gusts. Just a heads up there. Oh, power outage in Lodi now. Oh, it's going to be a long night, isn't it? As far as our rain totals so far, I know it hasn't been just a complete downpour, but we did get over a quarter of an inch of rain already in Vacaville, where some of that heavier rain is starting to move through. Less than a tenth of an inch through the rest of the valley, but again, we're waiting for some of that bigger moisture to stream in. And that will happen overnight tonight, roughly at about midnight. That's when that bigger band of rain starts to move our way. So let me see if I can, see, my mouse keeps freezing here on this computer. So here we are at midnight, and that's when we'll see just widespread heavy rain, strong winds, heavy snow, and then moving this along with our time frame. By noon tomorrow, we're still seeing rain in the forecast, snow as well. So keep in mind, this will be a continuation of on and off moderate to light rain after we get through today. That will give us over 1.5 inches, almost 2.5 inches of rain for some parts of the valley. And then for the foothills, we're looking at anywhere from 2.5 to almost 5 inches of rain. Snow will be piling up. Most of the snow at the lower elevations will melt pretty quickly given that our snow level will be rising, but I'm pretty confident that some of these areas like Boreal, Squaw Valley, Khyber, Sierra, Tahoe will see those 60 to 80 inches of snow as this system continues to affect us through our Friday outlook. That'll be mainly through the morning hours, but then taper off during the afternoon. Again, this is going to be a very dangerous storm for tonight with high winds. We've got the heavier rain yet to come, and that will cause problems with roads if trees are down, debris is clogging storm drains, and then, we got the wind, the rain, the snow, everything included. Mudslides possible over towards the LNU and the CSU burn complexes, those fire complexes. Sorry, I was just gonna check here. I thought there was a question that, do we need to be worried for tornadoes? My daughter was asking the same thing. No, not right now. I am seeing some lightning popping up off the coast, but we're not expecting thunderstorm activity. The winds are so strong, though, that we are seeing some damage from the winds that have already picked up in the valley. Let's see. I thought there was another question, but maybe not. Okay, so again, let me just end here with the current wind situation because that seems to be the most problematic right now. Current winds 35 to 40 miles per hour. We have that high wind warning in effect though through tomorrow at noon. That could expire early, but that's the situation right now.